Hi, I'm Chris James, and you're watching A Healthy Alternative. Today, we're going to be discussing how to break a 40-day water fast. We're missing a piece of the puzzle.
You start getting healthy and you just become a better person.
We need to start focusing more on the individual.
So this video was actually requested by one of our members, Ashish, and he is actually on a 40-day water fast right now. And I was thinking, man, I probably did a video where I talked about, 40-day fast, how to break a 40-day fast, or, I might have mentioned it in a video with a different topic, but I haven't done a specific video for this topic. So today we're going to kind of break down the back end of a fast. Oftentimes we talk a lot about prepping and all that stuff. I've got plenty of videos if you are interested in learning about how to prep for a fast. I think I actually have a video called How to Prep for a Fast. But when it comes to coming off of a fast, there's a lot of different factors to consider. And so we're going to get into a few of those today. Now, the most glaring issue that you can come across when you're breaking a long-term fast, such as 30 or 40 days, is really how you're going to break your fast. So what you want to do is make sure that you're taking the proper amount of time to come off of your fast the same way that you prepare for the fast. So it's almost like a reverse process. For example, so if you're going to be fasting for 40 days, you need to take at least 7 days. I would actually push it from 7 to 10 days. So between 7 and 10 days to actually break your fast. Now, what does that mean? When you go on a 40-day fast, there's many processes that your body does on a regular basis while you're eating that are no longer functioning, okay? So the body is intelligent in the sense that it won't waste energy manufacturing fluids or, just going through the motions just because. If you're not eating, there are certain things that it just won't do. And it's kind of interesting how quickly the body seems to get out of practice of doing these things that it's been doing for 20, 30, 40 years every single day. It almost kind of leads you to believe that it's the break your body's always been looking for. So anyway, because of the fact that the body really gets out of practice of digesting food and just eating food during that period of time, you have to give it a period of time to ramp back up, to get its gears going, to warm the car up. However you kind of want to look at it, you got to give it a chance to readjust. So one thing that a lot of people probably don't really consider is everything that you eat, the body is going to create a specific pH balance in the stomach in order to digest that particular food. The more complex the food that you're eating, the more complex or the more hassle it is for your body. So when you come off of a fast, if you eat whole foods, it makes the process so much easier for your body. All right. Because it only has to worry about, very simple foods that it has to break down versus the chemical cocktails and Frankenstein foods that we typically eat. So whole foods is definitely at the top of the list when you're looking to break your long-term water fast. The other thing that you want to be looking at is high water content in the food. Now, I've talked about this many times. We are 70+% water. We want to be eating what we are. When we consider high water content, we're talking 75, 80% water. So you want the foods to be mostly water, and the more water it is, the better. Some examples of this would include mushrooms, avocados, tomatoes, cucumbers, squash, watermelons being one of the most favorite of people breaking long fasts. As a matter of fact, I just watched a guy who broke a 40-day fast, and he broke it with watermelon, and he was describing that he basically said that the watermelon tastes like candy. Now, I have not done a 40-day fast before, but I have done 13 days, 30 days, and I do know that, like, if I'm not really a big fan of watermelon, but if I eat like grapes or something, they're too sweet. Like I really can't eat them. So it's interesting how much your taste buds adjust. And that's actually something that you could use to your benefit. So it might not sound fun to break your fast with high water content whole foods, but believe me, it's going to be such a unique experience. You're not going to want to miss it. And you're not going to want to mess your taste buds up with highly processed chemical, synthetic foods. Not number one, it's obviously really, really bad for you. But number two, you're going to be missing out on almost a spiritual experience. It's really different eating food coming off of long-term fast. If you've never done it, if you've never experienced it, you won't get it. You need to try it. You need to experience it. So this is another really hidden gem of doing long-term water fasting. Now, outside of eating whole foods when you're breaking your long-term water fast, you could obviously do something that's liquid. So like soup would be a great example, or broth. You just want to be careful that you're not eating like really creamy soups, anything with like dairy and stuff like that in it. You don't want in your soups or anything like that coming off of a 40-day fast. Your stomach will thank me. All right. Also, you want to make sure that there's not a whole bunch of salt in your food. You should find that coming off of a 40-day fast, you don't really require nearly as much seasoning because your taste bud, your tongue's going to be so much more sensitive. So just do your best to kind of break that habit. It's really a mental thing of just putting a ton of salt and seasoning on foods, and really experience the natural flavors. I've mentioned before that coming off of I think it was a 13 or 14-day fast that I did, for the first time, I experienced the sweetness of a bell pepper, right? I mean, a bell pepper is a fruit, and while it's not considered to be a sweet fruit, there is a sweetness to it. It's just very interesting having those experiences. Now, more specifically, you're eating these different foods. If you're going to do vegetables, I would say hold off, especially coming on a 40-day fast. You want to hold off for at least 3 or 4 days eating vegetables, because vegetables are much more dense. So you just want to be doing like juice, soup, and fruit for your first 3 days. And then, rounding day 4 or so, you could start doing your vegetables. And you want to make sure that you're steaming your vegetables. We want to really optimize hydration coming off of these fasts, because it makes it easier for the body to digest. And that's really the benefit of it. You want to make sure that the food is as easy as possible for the body to digest, so that it can, once again, get back in the swing of things. This is the important part. And this is where people really, really damage themselves. That's why I'm spending so much time talking about this particular aspect. A lot of the horror stories that you may have heard about people breaking long-term fast, it's not the fast itself. It's almost always the refeed. It's almost always, coming off the fast, either feeling ravenously hungry, or just not having the knowledge and eating pizza, or, going to a buffet, or whatever the case may be. You can really, really damage yourself. So you want to eat small portion sizes. You want to eat high water content foods. As you move on to the vegetables, you can steam them, make them soft, add water to them, make sure it's easy for the body to digest. Don't put a ton of salt on your food. That causes water retention. Remember that your body is very sensitive coming off of a fast. And the reason why we gain so much weight coming off of our fast is because of things like water retention. All right. So oftentimes it's not real, fat or anything like that. It's just your body retaining water, because we're going back to eating all of these processed foods and things where your body really has to suspend the toxicity of the foods. So the more closely you stick to this, the better your result will be. Now, as you're rounding the end of your 7-day, breaking of the fast, you could start incorporating your denser foods like rice, your grains, and things like that, quinoa, nuts, things of that nature. So you want to do that around day 5 and 6. You can also, I didn't mention you could do smoothies throughout this time. Smoothies are okay. You really want to hold off on your dairy products. You really don't want to be introducing those types of things into your diet for the first 7 days coming off of a 40-day water fast. I'm just warning you. I know some of you all will do it. I'm just warning you. Your stomach may not respond well, and it may be a good lesson for you too, because sometimes we have to touch the stove to know it's hot. Some people are like that. And having these really, really painful and uncomfortable experiences will actually get you to understand how detrimental these foods are to your system. See, when your system gets clean and you're eating clean food, you'll see how your bowel movements work. You'll see how your digestion works. You'll see that you won't be gassy. You'll see that you won't be burping. You will get an opportunity to see all of this stuff. And then when you start incorporating your dairy, your meat products, your synthetic foods, your processed foods, you'll get to see how that changes, how the bloating comes back, how the gas starts up. And then you'll start to understand, oh, this stuff isn't just natural. This isn't just normal. I'm not supposed to just feel heavy and bloated all the time and constipated. My bowel movements are supposed to be much bigger than what they are. The actual fecal matter isn't supposed to be so compacted. You'll start to see these changes. So another good idea for this period of time, you put in all that energy and effort into doing a 40-day fast. Make sure that you record and pay attention to all of the changes that you experience as you change your dietary strategy. Now, obviously, the optimal thing to do would be to stay with the high water content fruits and vegetables as a baseline for your diet. But I understand that a lot of us are going to go back to different diets that we're used to, and that's a whole process. So once you have taken a good 7 days to break your actual 40-day water fast, then you can start introducing your denser foods, your meats, your potatoes, which roots and things like that. You can start doing your dairy product and whatever you would kind of traditionally eat. I would just caution you not to eat it in a quantity that is that you would consider normal. I would really focus on portion control, because this will allow you to reincorporate these foods without once again hurting yourself. So that's kind of the goal of this, is to make sure that you come out of this fast safely. Now, a lot of things I just touched on are also going to play into this idea that we don't want to come off the fast and experience some type of refeeding syndrome. We don't want to come off the fast and experience, this, you don't want to blow up as far as your weight goes. And you certainly don't want to hurt yourself. So the refeeding syndrome is really going to be very closely connected to the foods you're eating. All right. And that's the reason the base of this conversation is really around food. We have to consider the effect that the chemical constituents of the food that we eat have on our internal environment. This is not like fake news. This is real. And one of the ways that I kind of make this correlation is like this. We all know that if we drink alcohol, it's going to have an effect on our body, right? You start feeling a little maybe dizzy, or it might have a calming effect. It might make things seem more funny than they are. It's also a depressant. So what I've noticed is, if you drink alcohol and you're already in a depressive state, it exacerbates that depression. Or you could be in a good mood. You could actually be in a good place, but drink too much, and it will start to cause you to have depressed thoughts. Now, I was talking to one of my good friends the other day about, just starting a new business and just taking risk and things like that. And he said he was struggling with taking risks and just pulling the trigger, was his words. Well, I told him that, if you really address the foods you're eating, not just address the foods you're eating, but also go through a process of detoxification and maintain healthy foods, you will kind of start to come out of that depression and that place where you feel like you can't accomplish things, or you're very nervous. If you're the type of person who's constantly second guessing yourself, or just feeling like things never go right, you may want to consider the foods you're eating. And all of this will be highlighted or exemplified after a 40-day water fast. Your body will be so sensitive. So this is where a lot of the refeeding syndrome and things come from. Also, obviously, the foods we're eating, there's chemicals in there that are designed to make you addicted, to make you crave. So this is the one of the big issues with refeeding syndrome. And especially coming off of a 40-day fast, you're giving your body such an enormous amount of time to detox the system. It really is going to be, kind of like reset, and you're going to be very sensitive. So when you come off, You gotta do it the right way. If you don't do it the right way, you're gonna start unraveling the work that you put in. One other option that will help you a lot with just avoiding the refeeding syndrome and just that whole yo-yoing, that blowing up thing, is to in your fast or start your refeed with some coconut water, as well as when you start getting towards day 7, you could start doing some leafy green juices to help to make sure that the cravings are under control and everything like that. Obviously, you could do a Slim and Sassy oil, essential oil, with your refeed to help to suppress appetite and further detox. But at the end of the day, I would say one of the most impacting things that you could do is, especially as you're nearing the end of your fast, is start doing some mental exercises. You want to make sure that you're telling yourself, okay, when I break the fast, this is how I'm going to perform. When I break the fast, this is what I'm going to eat. This is what I'm not going to eat. It's also going to be a good idea to clear out your cabinet and your refrigerator. All of the foods that we understand that are detrimental to our health, we're going to remove them, make the access to them difficult. All right. And as we're getting closer to getting ready to break our fast, we're going to replenish our refrigerator with the foods that we know are going to be beneficial. There's a saying that says, we don't plan to fail, we just fail to plan, right? So, although I'm not really big on hard plans because I feel like we have to be fluid in life, we do want to set ourselves up for success. So have those good healthy foods readily available. Do not come off your fast and have a vacation planned, right? This is kind of part of that planning and the mental work. Oftentimes we'll say, okay, I'm gonna do this 40-day fast, and then I'm gonna fast till my birthday. Well, that's fine, but oftentimes people want to celebrate their birthday, and that's fine as well. But you have to consider your personality. If you're the type of person who you're very susceptible to outside influences, it may not be a good idea to break your 40-day fast on your birthday, knowing that you're going to celebrate, knowing that you're going to party, knowing that you're going to drink or eat inappropriately or whatever the case may be. That's not something you want to do, and I hear that a lot. So, and I'm not saying that you can't do it. You just need Everyone's an individual. You need to know what you can and can't do. You need to know your strong suits and your weak points, and don't put yourself in a position where you're lacking. So I talk about a lot of these types of things in my book, Metamorphosis: A Journey to Holistic Wellness. That's on sale now. You guys can check that out at ahealthyalternative.org. I did want to let you all know that the Cancun trip was pushed back. Thank you, coronavirus. The resort pretty much canceled or pushed the dates of them reopening back at the last minute. Literally, we're supposed to go this week. This week, and they just told us a couple of days ago that they weren't going to be opening the resort in time. So we pushed the dates back to March 4th through March 8th. That's 2021, March 4th through March 8th. So if you weren't able to attend the event and you wanted to, here's a second coming. Okay. The booking site is open. Make sure that you join the AHA Cancun Takeover group on Facebook. You can get those details. If you're not a Facebook person, you could reach me at chris@ahealthyalternative.org. Just put in the subject bar Cancun trip, and I'll get you the details that you need so that you can register and you can come. So we're going to have a lot of fun. There's a lot of events planned. Once this freaking coronavirus gets out our way, we're going to be on our way. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video and it was helpful for you. If it was, make sure to hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, the application of knowledge is power. And I will see you all next time.